This is a season of planning, is it not? You're trying to figure out, whether people are with their in-laws on Christmas Day or with you, and when you're going to get together, how you're going to work in 3 Christmas dinners in one day, or how you're going to travel 200 miles in 2 hours to get to the other dinner. I've been making my own plans. We've been trying to figure out, my family and the community, how to get together. Father John Paul's family is going to be here. We have our dinner with the community too. I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to be with my family. And then, most importantly of all, we're trying to figure out when we can do our white elephant gift exchange, my family. I think it's not a true white elephant because we're actually doing serious gifts. But this was my sister-in-law Kathy's great answer to, having to shop and buy tons of things is just buy one decent gift and then we'll see who gets what. And so I'm busy planning. I've had so much fun at the other 2 white elephant gift parties I've been to this year already. I'm trying to plan every moment of fun for this. And so I got online to find out different rules for how you do this, who chooses the gift, how many times the gift can be stolen. So I'm emailing back and forth with my sister-in-law, how about this, So I'm trying to plot every single dramatic turning point in this 45-minute gift exchange. Well, St. Joseph had his plans, probably the first of which was not to be St. Joseph. But, he was making his wedding plans, right? He was probably had picked out his wedding colors and sent invitations and chosen a DJ. And then he finds out his betrothed one is pregnant. Didn't plan that, especially when he had nothing to do with it, apparently. And so then he makes other plans. He plans to divorce her quietly rather than leading the way in the prescribed stoning. So that was very kind. So he had these plans, and then when he went to sleep that night, he definitely didn't plan on getting visited by an angel of the Lord, which I think is code really for the Lord, visiting him and saying, "Do not be afraid," which of course is the signal to be very afraid. Do not be afraid, because it's by the Holy Spirit that Mary's pregnant. And you are to name him Jesus, because he's going to save the world from its sins. So Joseph, unafraid, just does it. He just gets up and does what he's told to do. Now, it turns out that he's in this new adventure on a need-to-know basis. And luckily, he goes to bed regularly and is a good dreamer, because God takes it upon himself to visit him in another dream, saying, well, Herod's out for this new son, so flee to Egypt. And now by this time, Joseph might be thinking, this sounds a little bit familiar, fleeing to Egypt. This is big. But afraid or not, he decides it's scary for God to be with you, but it's even less scary for God to be with you. In other words, God's with him, that's scary, but really, God's with him, so why should he be afraid? Doesn't that make perfect sense? And so he flees, and then, of course, then he gets another dream. Okay, come back, and Jesus is born. And so little by little this unfolds, but he just seems to go with it. Now, he must have had some fears along the way, right? But okay, God is with me. So during this season of planning, and planning's a good thing, right? Planning's great. And it's especially great during Christmas as long as it helps us and doesn't hinder us from allowing the Holy Spirit to seep into our consciousness, whether we're asleep or awake. We might even plan some time for dreaming, or at least daydreaming, some time for prayer, which, if we take time to pray, that helps us to be ready for those surprising times when God visits us. And so God does visit us. God has visited us. God's visiting us right now, at each moment. Let's allow ourselves to be surprised by the way the Holy Spirit visits us this season and invites us to bear God's saving word to the world. Let's not let our fear of that get in the way of us embracing God, because with God, really, there's ultimately nothing to fear.